Hi students, this is going to be a quick little video for Module 6. I'll just run through some pronunciations and then get through information about the assignments. So, first up is a little bit of housekeeping. Just remember that the last day of class is Tuesday. I know that's a little bit different than usual because we usually have those Sunday deadlines. But this week it's Tuesday, May 8th. Absolutely nothing will be accepted after the 11:59 deadline. So when the course ends, the course ends. And I'll be really quick with getting your final grades back to you as well. All right, one chapter this week, just the digestive system. So our digestive system, as you know, is how we process our food and then how we get rid of that food waste after you have digested it. There's two categories of organs. The first is the alimentary organs. This is the tube that your food is passing through once it enters your mouth. So you'll notice that your mouth and pharynx are the first step. Those are shared areas for your respiratory system. Food then enters your esophagus, then stomach, then small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and anus, in that order, from top down. The other group of organs is called the accessory organs. The accessory organs are your teeth, tongue, liver, pancreas, and gallbladder. So all of those things are helping with your digestion, but they are not actually part of the tube that the food passes through. All right, common word parts. We have the mouth, oro and stomato. So oral and stomatitis are the example words. Moving down, we have glossopharyngeal. Oh, and I see a spelling error there. Oh, pharyngeal, there we go, okay. Pharyngeal, sublingual, chelioplasty, and labial, both from mouth. I'm sorry, lips. All right, then we have for teeth, dentist and orthodontist as our example words. Gingivitis means pertaining to gums. Then sialolith. Sialo is anything that has to do with your saliva or your salivary glands. And then esophago, which is probably the easiest one of all of these, is esophagus. Pharynx, remember that anything that ends with an X is usually a G when we make it into a combining form. So that X turns into a G to make pharyngo, so pharyngitis. Stomach is gastro, we've seen that before, so that should be familiar. Intestine, it might be simple, intestinal, or we might use entero. So an example there would be enteropathic. Duodenum is pretty simple as well. We just add the O at the end of duoden. So duodenoscopy would be a scope, or looking at the duodenum with a scope. Then we have the jejunum, same thing there. Oops, too fast. The jejunum, so jejuno. There we go. Gosh, my arrows were going crazy. Ilio, same thing. Ileostomy is the word we're looking at. Appendix, two ways to do this. They're both very similar. So we've got appendo, and then if we use the C, appendiso. Now, knowing when to use one versus the other in that case is kind of just it's a toss-up. So always refer to a medical dictionary if you're trying to figure out how to spell something that has to do with the appendix. Colon, same thing there, colo and colano. When to use one versus the other, it's just kind of a toss-up. So again, refer to your medical dictionaries if you're in that kind of situation. Sigmoid colon, we have sigmoido, so sigmoidotomy. Rectum could be recto or procto. Our example words are rectocele and proctologist. Ano and procto could also mean anus. So keep in mind, if you're using procto, that could refer to both of these different organs. But they're very close together. So a lot of times, if you're doing a procedure or you're talking about a disease or some kind of injury, it does affect both the rectum and anus. So perianal and proctologist are example words. All right, quickly through the accessory organs, we have hepato, so hepatitis, inflammation of the liver. Pancreas, this is kind of an interesting word because we add a T there at the end of the combining form. That's a little bit unusual. So pancreatolysis. Then we have cholelith and cholecystectomy for bile and gallbladder. All right, a few suffixes here. I'll just read through the words. We've got hyperemesis, splenomegaly, anorexia, dyspepsia, and polyphagia. All right, then a few words that don't fit our prefix, suffix, and word roots. An ulcer is any open sore on the skin, and this is usually on the inside of the stomach, but it really can happen anywhere along the digestive tract. A hernia is when there's a bulge of that tract. It happens very often in the esophagus, but it could be in any part of the alimentary canal. Diverticula happen when there's little pockets, typically in the colon, but again, it could be, diverticula could happen other places, but we don't usually use the word diverticula in those cases. So if you want to just remember them as colon disorders, that's completely fine. There are these little pockets that sometimes trap little food particles, then that becomes inflamed and it's a problem. Can be painful. Ascites is when we have fluid in the abdominal cavity where it shouldn't be. One of my favorite words, borborygmus. Borborygmus is going to be your key word this week. So that rumbling you feel when you feel hungry, it's called borborygmus. It's just a fancy word for that. Colic. It's a spasm of a hollow organ. Right? A lot of times when people say colic, they are referring to whiny babies, and that's not the medical definition for colic, so I just want that to be really clear. Colic does not have to do with babies. Now, the way that's associated is because people thought, this baby is upset because he or she is having trouble digesting food or milk. And that's how colic or colicky babies became a thing. So just remember that anytime you hear a crying baby, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're colicky, right? Colicky really truly means that there's a spasm of the digestive organs. Dysentery is an inflammation of the intestine. If you've played Oregon Trail, you know that one. Peristalsis is the way that food moves through your digestive tract. So if you were to kind of squeeze a hose and then push the water through by squeezing and then pulling your hand down the hose, that would be how peristalsis works inside your body. Only 4 abbreviations this week. We've got BM for bowel movement. GERD is gastroesophageal reflux disorder or disease. The D can mean either one. IBS is irritable bowel syndrome, and US is ultrasound. And you probably know this already, but ultrasound is not specific to digestive system. It can be used for a lot of different things. But we mention it here because it's used often to get an inside look at those digestive organs. Okay, to finish up, things you have to do in Module 6, check out the digestive chapter, use the study guide. That study guide is going to be really helpful for your final exam. And then use the practice final. If you haven't noticed already, there is a practice final, which is awesome. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but it's ungraded. It's a good way to test your knowledge before you take the real final. You could take it as many times as you want. You can check your answers. So it's worth it. I think it's a good way to test your knowledge and see if you're ready to take the final. Things that are due in Module 6, we have the course project. It's just one single patient this time, so it's a little bit shorter, and you're getting the hang of how to do this. So I think it'll probably take you a little less time than usual. The final exam covers everything in the course, so it's comprehensive. Make sure you take the time to study. You do get 2 attempts. You do not have to take both attempts. If you're happy with your first score, then that's great. Then you're done with the course. If you want to take it twice, you can. The best score will count towards your grade. It is timed just like all your other quizzes, so keep that in mind as you start your quiz or exam. And then I mentioned in the last couple slides, the keyword for Module 6 is borborygmus, just because it's a fun word. Alright, so Tuesday's your last day. Make sure everything's in on Tuesday. If you have any questions in the meantime, let me know. And I hope that you get a chance to enjoy some sunshine wherever you are in the country this weekend. Alright, have a great one. Thanks.